What's up, guys? My name is Leif, and you're listening to episode 46 of the Vegan Gym Podcast. My brother and I are vegan fitness coaches and bodybuilders who started this podcast as part of our mission to show the world that vegans are strong, healthy, compassionate badasses who are leading the charge against chronic disease, animal abuse, and climate change. We've had the opportunity to help thousands of vegans reach their fitness goals, but we're just getting started. Our goal is to help 1 million vegans get into the best shape of their lives. So if you believe in challenging the status quo and showing the world how badass veganism really is, then this podcast is for you. With that, I'd like to introduce my brother, my co-host for this podcast, Anders. What's going on, man?
What is going on, guys? We are finally rested.
Yeah, I feel so much better.
I feel fantastic.
Yeah.
You know,
so what's been going on?
Oh, well, obviously you know, but everyone, like the past few weeks, I don't know what it's actually been like past few months.
Yeah,
it's
literally been months.
Has been a built up to.
But the past few weeks have been like just a sprint.
Yeah, exactly.
Sprint to the finish.
The last week and a half we always talk about everything being a blur. I don't remember what happened this past week.
Yeah. No, seriously. Yeah, I feel like we always say that. We're just like a broken record.
Right.
But it's true. It's like we're always like working on the next project. And it's like even now that that my book is done, it's like, okay, we're on to the next thing.
Right.
It's like there's always something more. It's because first of all, we absolutely love what we're doing.
I was just about to say, like, we're not even complaining about it. We're just saying, like, this is just how it is.
Yeah. It's a blur, and it's a super awesome blur.
But, the past few weeks have been really good. Obviously, we had an epic launch with your book, dude.
Yeah.
And
I'm
for those that don't know, the
by
book's
all the
called
response.
Vegan Fat Shredding Secrets.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you're watching the YouTube, like, it's right here.
Yeah. I'm just super humbled by the response. I feel like people really kind of get it and they understand like what we're trying to do, the message we're trying to spread, and I'm just really humbled and honored, and it's been like a really cool journey. So
yeah, you guys rock. You guys are like the best following ever. Like you guys are family to us.
Exactly.
So to provide any value to you, we're going to freaking do it, and I'm glad that those that got the book did, because it's going to change your life.
Exactly. And we're just right now we're kind of like our next project is really working on ramping this up and getting this out to more people, because I know for a fact this book has the power to change your life, to change other people's lives, and to help more vegans really transform their bodies and transform their lives. And I believe that is so important because I have seen the power of, first of all, it's amazing for your health. It's amazing for how you look. It's amazing for your confidence. But, and I mean, talking about transforming your body, but at the same time, it also spreads veganism. Right. And I think that's a really cool kind of byproduct. And it's kind of bigger than just us. And I mean, not just you and me, Anders, but like all of vegans. It's like It's bigger than us. It's more about like impacting the world, saving more animals, helping more people to transform their health and to become healthier, so they live happier lives, and we don't have to rely on medicines and like the medical industry and stuff, like well into our until we die and stuff. And of course, the medical industry has a place, but I'm just saying, like, we want to be healthy, we want to feel healthy, and I think this book has the power to do that. And also it's like this can spread the message further. It's like transforming your body can really help to spread the vegan message. And that's something that I really didn't understand when I first went vegan. It's like I was so focused on, for me it was health, and if you know my story, you know why that is. I was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and that's what pushed me to go vegan. And I write about that in chapter 1 of the book, so if you have that, or if you get it, you can kind of learn more about my story. But anyways, that's why I went vegan. And it was really all about my health at first. So I guess it was, in a way, kind of selfish. But I saw it as a path to to really
Longevity.
to longevity, to save my life,
Right.
and to never have to go through that again. It's like the main thing that I learned through that experience is if we don't have our health, then you literally don't have anything. It's like you can have amazing relationships, you can, which is obviously incredibly important to a fulfilling life, but that you can't even bring your energy and love and stuff to those relationships if you do not have your health. So I really feel like the health is like so incredibly important, and that's why I originally went vegan. It was more kind of like plant-based, like whole food style eating, and I do believe that is by far the healthiest diet you could possibly have. I really struggled first to like shred fat, to build muscle, to really transform my body. I felt like I got my health in order. But something that I didn't really understand when I first went vegan is that you can be really healthy, but not necessarily fit.
Right.
And
well, it's something that you don't have to worry about when you're eating animal products, because you're going to get enough protein while you eat animal products.
Well, you can get enough protein as a vegan very, very easily to just to be really healthy. It's like you don't need that much protein. And it's not just an issue of protein. That's a small part of it. But I think that tends to not even be the major issue. There's protein quantity. Yeah, that's a concern. But then there's also protein quality. That's a bigger concern, in my opinion, when you're talking about like focusing on a plant-based diet. And that's something else I talk in length in my book about. But anyways, it's so important to I think to transform your body, because that has the power to impact other people, to help more people.
Yeah.
And I think that's really special. And I feel like that has been, even though I got my health in order and I eventually figured out kind of the fitness side of things. And like I was saying, you could be super healthy, but not necessarily be super fit and be able to shred fat, build muscle, and transform your body and really create the physique that you want to have. So I think those are not necessarily mutually inclusive. Health being healthy and being fit. You can have one or the other, but obviously you want to have both. Like that's optimal. So that's something else that I go in detail into the book about, because you can be super healthy. That's awesome, but I didn't want to just be super healthy. It's like I wanted that, but I also wanted to be like to be able to like crush it in the gym and stuff. And you can most certainly do that as a vegan. And I kind of figured that out over a period of many years. And because I struggled so much with that when I first went vegan, I realized other people are struggling with this too. And that's the main reason that I wrote the book. But anyways, I just feel like it's so powerful to focus on transforming your body when it comes to like vegan activism. And maybe that's not where you're at right now in your vegan journey. Maybe you have just gone vegan for health reasons or for the animals or something. But I feel like a lot of vegans, they tend to come back to this idea of just impact and helping more people and showing kind of the way and what they discovered. Because once you understand really the implications of our diet and lifestyle choices, you realize how incredibly important it is to really be ethically and morally kind of sound in your judgment and the lifestyle that you choose to lead. So once you learn that, it's easy to kind of look at all of other society and be like, wow, most people are kind of just brainwashed by society, and they're told like, oh yeah, you need animal products, you need to drink milk for your bones, you need to having leather is okay, it's just like it's a luxury and stuff. There are all these like ideas that are never really challenged, as especially at a young age, because you're just told this is how it is, and and you just say, okay, well, that's awesome. Like, and I'm gonna drink my milk. I'm gonna eat chicken because I need protein. I'm going to put leather in my car when I get a good job, because that's a sign of like luxury and like status and stuff. And I think it's so important once you learn the truth about these industries. And it's obvious. Like, this stuff is obvious. You know, like, hey, if you eat meat, some animal had to die. But it's not, people don't really think about it like that in depth.
There's just not like a connection.
Yeah, exactly. There's no connection there between like an animal's life and your meal and stuff. Like, obviously, but you don't really think about it, and you probably actually do care. Like, if you would take a step back and really think through it, most people would very much care about that.
Right.
But
it's just like in all the movies when you see the animal die, like,
yeah, exactly,
you're saddened.
Right.
But you don't think about that because you don't see any of that when you just go to the grocery store and you pick up that piece of meat.
Yeah.
You don't think about it because you're like, this is normal.
Right. Yeah. So. And it comes in, I'll say, pretty little package. I don't think it's so pretty, but
it's clean.
Right. It's clean-ish.
Yeah.
It comes in this
unless you really know what's
kind
on
of pretty package. I cringe to even say those words, but I mean, it kind of is. It's like it's this little package, and it makes you not think about like what actually went into that,
right?
Because you're like totally detached from the animal itself. And anyways, I just think that transforming your body, that's really the most incredible benefit that I've seen from transforming my body. It's like, yes, I got my health in order. That was amazing. I feel so much better, and I absolutely, I feel so blessed to have had that experience, to go through like such a serious medical scare, and then kind of see the light and realize, hey, I need to get my health in order. I consider that to be a huge blessing. So I feel like I did that, and then I got my fitness in order by tweaking my training and nutrition to really both optimize my health but optimize my fitness at the same time. And then I kind of got myself together in those two respects. And then the major kind of benefit that I saw was the ability to impact others and to just show through example, like, yes, this is possible as a vegan. And I think there are many examples of people like that we all know in the vegan world, athletes and strongmen and bodybuilders and stuff. We see those people and we know them, but most other people don't really. And that's because we're kind of stuck in our own little vegan world. And most people outside of that don't really see those very positive examples of veganism. And it's kind of, people do kind of look surface level, I guess, because nobody wants to adopt a diet that they associate or adopt a lifestyle, I should say, that they associate with being skinny, weak, and like hippie-like and stuff. And I mean, those are just many of the stereotypes that go along with veganism, and that is changing, and that's amazing. But I think that we each have the power to propel that in the right direction, and that's really the main. The thing that I really got out of my whole transformation was, I built up my confidence. That was crucial to me. I built up my body. I felt much better about myself. I looked better. I carried myself differently. And that was all amazing. But actually, the most amazing part, in my opinion, was the ability to impact others, to show people the power of veganism, and to literally inspire others to adopt a vegan lifestyle.
Well, what's so cool about it is like you're not forcing it onto them. It's not like you're not going out into public and preaching the vegan gospel, so to speak. You know, it's like you're just doing your thing and progressing yourself, but others see that as along the way, and that's the type of advocating for veganism that I love doing, because like you're not shoving it down someone's throat. They see it, and when they want to know more, they confront you about
Yeah.
it. And I think that is, I think all the ways of advocating veganism is great, but personally, I think this is one of the better ways of doing it, because it's not even like, hey, look at me. It's just like you're doing your own thing and they come up to you.
Yeah.
And
I don't know that I would even say like one is better than the other, but there are definitely different forms of vegan activism.
Yeah.
And in our experience, like we have been in the place of being kind of the meathead style guy in the gym. And if someone came up to us and started like telling us, hey, we need to go vegan, we would have taken that in a very poor
we would have been offended, you know?
I
would have.
Yeah, I don't know if offended was the right word. I think
I'd be like, piss off, dude.
yeah, probably more so like that. And now we've seen the other side, and we realize, you know what? That's actually entirely the right way of going about things. But that's not really to us. That wouldn't have been the right way of going about spreading the message.
Yeah.
So we see the kind of the body transformation and showing through example, showing through saying, hey, I can be super healthy and fit as a vegan, and showing that through example is more powerful to us in our opinions based on our past experiences. That's more powerful than trying to go out and do other forms of activism. And I think those all have their place. And some people respond to different forms of activism in different ways, and some are better than others. It
really revolves around just what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Since we're passionate about fitness, that is our little niche, you know? Like that's what we want to be sticking with. But it is really cool, because for our gym that we go to is the strongman gym, right? And they're all big meatheads and stuff like that, which, hey, I respect the hell out of them for picking up the weight that they do, and their dedication
they're
to
totally
the gym.
Beasts.
I respect them so much. But what's really cool is, like, we've been there for, what is it now, 5 months since December or so, and like they respect us for our choices, and they don't like. Sure, you get a joke every now and again, but it's not like an attack. It's just like, it's like, okay, I'm just joking. I know you're pretty strong. And that's the really cool thing, is like, I want to be able to lift more than the meat eaters, and then ask questions like, okay, dude, how do you do it?
Right.
It's like, how do you do that with plants?
Yeah, we've had some amazing conversations. There's this guy named Evan Singleton who works out at the gym, and he's incredibly strong. He's
enormous.
Yeah,
his nickname is T-Rex.
Yeah, T-Rex. Yeah, he's this amazing guy. He's just such a cool guy, and he's actually competing in the South African. I don't know if it's Worlds or
I think it's the Worlds.
Yeah, South African
World's
strongman competition. Like, he is massive and super strong.
How tall is he? He's like what, 6'7"?
I think 6'5", 6'6". He's something like that.
He's like 400 pounds.
He's not quite that. I think he's like mid 300s, but he's a big guy. He's a big guy, super strong, but he's also one of the nicest guys ever. And I just had an amazing conversation with him just last week. He's like, so how are things going with you guys? And I mentioned, well, I just finished one of my books, and we just talked about my book for like 20 minutes. And he's just, he's like, save me a copy. I'm really interested in that. And it's just like, that's the kind of response that is actually pretty typical. We very rarely get negative responses from people based on kind of how we advocate the lifestyle. So we'll basically pick up big weights, wear some vegan apparel, and have a conversation about veganism if someone walks up and makes a comment about it or asks about it.
And it's not like
that's about it.
It's not the vegan apparel that says like screw meatheads and stuff like that, which I know there's so much out there like that. It's like we love wearing our apparel that says not bad for a vegan, because everyone loves that. Everyone it sparks a conversation everywhere.
Yeah, it's like it just disarms people actually. Like
they
people
come up laughing.
People who would be like normally super anti-vegan would come up and just like start laughing and be like,
that's a good shirt.
He's like, that shirt's amazing. Are you actually vegan? And then that opens them up to a really cool conversation. Then they walk away thinking, wow, I guess vegans aren't that weird.
Right.
Or, wow, I guess they're pretty normal. That dude's pretty strong. So yeah, wow. And then that reframes the whole idea of veganism in those people's minds. So
exactly.
I think it's just so powerful. And I didn't really mean to talk for so long about kind of like
Dude, I liked it. No, that's good. Man.
Why I really decided to write this book. But I think first of all, getting your body in, getting to a point where you're really comfortable and confident in your body is amazing. Yeah. And that's something, I don't know, I think that's something a lot of people in the fitness world, just as a whole, don't really tend to talk about. And I think that's really important, because I used to seriously struggle with self-confidence, and that's not something I would ever tell people, but it's just I wouldn't feel comfortable being shirtless. I was skinny and weak or skinny fat for pretty much all my life, except for the last 3 years when I really started dialing in my plan, dialing in the strategy, and putting in the work and making that transformation.
Yeah. Well, so not even confidence in yourself. In addition to that, it's confidence outside of that. I talk to people all the time. It's 3 years ago, I would have never wanted to be on a podcast. I would have never wanted to take a video of myself talking and then post it in front of 19,000 people on our Instagram. It's that was one of the biggest changes for me is and the confidence came through fitness. It's I started getting confident with with what I was lifting, how I was feeling, and that helped me outside of the gym as well. And we talk about fitness is a catalyst to life transformation, and I will back that up 100% every single time someone asks me. It's if you work on yourself physically and mentally, which I think fitness is one of the best ways of doing that, it's going to help you with everything else in your life.
Yeah.
Hands
I totally
down.
believe that. You just kind of went through that sentence really quickly, but I want to say that one more time because I think it's so powerful. We believe that fitness is a catalyst for life transformation.
Yeah.
That's where transformation can really take hold in your life and really start. Because once you get your fitness down, it changes your body. And once your body changes, you carry yourself differently. You act differently. People treat you differently.
You think differently.
You think about things differently. You build the mindset required to be a very confident person and a person who's very committed to their fitness, and that carries over into all other areas of your life. And I've seen that time and time again with clients we've worked with other people whose journeys we follow, followers that we have, and kind of our audience. Yeah. It's I've seen that time and time again where once you transform your body, your life starts changing as well. And it's just a positive, it's such a positive catalyst for that entire transformation. So I kind of use body transformation and life transformation almost interchangeably. Right. Yeah. Because I honestly believe they're basically interchangeable. It's once you transform your body, you transform your life. Because I think so many people are held back in life by limiting beliefs, them telling themselves in their mind, I can not do this because of X, Y, or Z. Mm-hmm. And it usually comes back to confidence. Those limiting beliefs pile up because somebody told you can't do something, or you told yourself you can't do something because something happened in your life that really kind of put you down that path. But once you can go back and start really just tearing down those limiting beliefs and building up new beliefs that are really empowering, affirming beliefs. Yeah. Once you can make that change, then your life starts transforming. And for us, and for so many people that I've watched, that happens when you start transforming your body. Yeah. And I think I think it's just so incredibly powerful. So, this is so far beyond six-pack abs. It's that's
getting shredded,
right? That's this. And okay, so I kind of made the title catchy and highly marketable because I want people to pick it up and then I'll change your life inside the book.
Exactly.
But I want people to pick it up. That's why I put a shredded picture of me on the cover. No, I don't look like that all the time. No, I don't look like that right now. And that's very rare, actually. But I wanted to show people like this is what is possible as a vegan, and make the book like highly marketable and highly just something that people actually want to pick up and read. Something that really establishes kind of curiosity in people's minds. So that's why I did that on the cover, but it's not about that, okay? It's not about having the shredded six-pack abs, although I will say it's pretty freaking awesome. Like, that is cool to walk around with six-pack abs.
And that's a fantastic goal, too. If that's something that you guys want to achieve, like, this book's going to help you get that.
Yeah, and if you don't want to do that, awesome. Like, your goals are really the only goals that matter for you. That's kind of obvious, but don't follow like social expectations, or like you need to like your booty needs to look a certain way, or your abs need to look a certain way. That's complete BS, and I talk about that a little bit in the book.
It's really difficult because of all the social media platforms right now, but you seriously just need to focus on yourself.
Yeah,
because the only person you should be comparing yourself to is the person yesterday of you.
Yeah,
that's it. And like I lived through that for many years, like especially through high school. Like I would look at my friends or online and be like, man, I really want that. I really want this. And I obsessed over it, and I didn't like focus on my changes, which just tore me down even more. So that like actually slowed the process of me building confidence. And I don't want that to happen to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really, I mean, it's not about the six-pack abs. It's not about the booty or whatever. It's like, that's not the goal. That might be a byproduct of your transformation, and awesome. That would be great if that's your goal. But it's way beyond that. It's establishing the confidence, being really comfortable in your body, feeling just confident about walking into the gym and doing exactly what you want to do, as long as it doesn't harm others on a daily basis, and like living your life in the way that you were put on this earth to live. So that's kind of the one side, and then the other side is impacting others and showing people what's possible. So those are the main two things. It's not about the six-pack abs, even though Vegan Fat Shredding Secrets with a picture of me with a shredded six-pack on the front, that kind of conveys this idea that like oh, you want to be shredded, you want to like get ripped, you want to look like this. No, that's I just do that because I know that's what kind of is going to get people's attention. But then inside the book, I'm going to tear those beliefs down and show you what actually really matters. So anyways, that was kind of a long-winded introduction, but the goal of this podcast is to really just kind of talk a little bit about the book and explain kind of exactly what's in here and explain some of the main concepts. So I'm going to start by covering the main part in the book. Okay, so the main part in this book is called my vegan fat shredding formula, and don't worry, it doesn't involve calculus or anything, so you don't have to worry if you're not really a math person. I happen to be a math nerd, but that doesn't mean you have to be. So I like the word formula. I like talking about math and stuff. But anyways, so let's talk through my formula, and then we can just break it down a little bit. But I firmly believe that this formula is the only thing that you need to achieve fat shredding success. And it sounds very simple, but there are a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of stuff in here, and most people will say, oh, you just have to count points or count calories and you can lose weight and stuff. That is absolutely true. That is entirely true. It's like, yes, you could just do a Weight Watchers diet and just count points or something, or just count calories or something, and you will just lose weight. It is really that simple. But as I talk about in the book, there is a massive difference between losing weight and shredding fat. So if you just talk about losing weight, you could be losing muscle and water weight.
You go to the bathroom and you lose weight.
Yeah, essentially. It's a crude example, but yeah, essentially. And so I want to shift your idea from the idea of like weight loss, and I really want to kind of completely just abolish that phrase from your vocabulary. Because we want to focus on fat loss. That is ultimately the most important thing that we want to focus on. We want to shred fat and build lean muscle, or at the very least maintain lean muscle, because for many people it's difficult to actually build lean muscle at the same time that you're shredding fat, and doing both at the same time, even though some people can do that, and it's based on your fitness experience and based on your body composition. Some people can do that, but it's still not optimal to do both at the same time. So you kind of have to focus on one, shredding fat, and then kind of transition and focus on the other, building lean muscle, and kind of go back and forth until you achieve kind of your goal physique. But anyways, the point of that whole that whole thing is that you that calories in versus calories out, energy balance, that ultimately is the most kind of important kind of surface level factor for weight loss. I'll use that term because that is kind of about weight loss, but we don't want to lose weight necessarily. We want to shred fat. And yes, if you shred fat and do that effectively while maintaining your lean body mass, you are going to quote unquote lose weight. Like, that's obviously going to happen, but the main focus should be shredding fat, because we are worried about our body composition ultimately, and your body composition refers to the proportions of lean muscle mass and fat in your body, or more specifically, lean body mass and body fat in your body. And lean body mass is just everything in your body that is not body fat. So it's water, it's your skeletal system, so bones, it's your muscle mass, it's all of that stuff. But anyways, I kind of digress. So getting back to the formula, ultimately, calories in versus calories out, that's the weight loss thing. It's really that simple. But we want to take it a step further, and we want to improve our body composition. So we have to kind of worry about maintaining our lean muscle mass while shredding fat, because lots of other diets and training programs actually don't really focus hardly at all on the muscle mass part of it. They're just like, okay, how can I see the number on the scale go down as quickly as possible? Yeah. Well, that will get you some results, but we want to maintain the lean body mass. We want to maintain that muscle because you're going to look better when you do that. If you just like lose muscle mass and body fat, then you're going to end up maybe more or less kind of looking the same at a lower body weight. So we want to introduce another part into this puzzle, and then there's one other piece, and that is longevity. Like, we are in this for lasting transformation. I didn't mean longevity as in like your health, although that really matters. I meant lasting, like, transformation, okay? So the main problem with the weight loss industry is not the fact that people don't lose weight, okay? People lose weight on Weight Watchers. They lose weight focusing on calories in versus calories out. That's not necessarily the problem. The problem is usually that people can lose the weight and then they gain it right back because they haven't built in the lasting transformation part where you become a new person. Yeah. And you build a support system around your goals and around your new lifestyle so it becomes sustainable and you achieve lasting transformation. So, without further ado, here is my vegan fat shredding formula. So we have a warrior mindset plus a moderate caloric deficit plus a high protein intake plus heavy compound weightlifting plus massive accountability equals vegan fat shredding success. So let's go through each one of those, and we'll just I'll just touch on each one briefly. I can't go into as much detail as the book because we'd be here for the next 7 hours. But anyways, a warrior mindset. Okay, this is the first piece. There are basically 3 pieces. We have mindset. Then we have strategy, which is how we actually like achieve the results, like what is our plan. And then we have accountability, which is like how do we build in a support system around our goals. So those are the 3 main parts. So the warrior mindset is this idea of maintaining commitment and intensity. It's like you are completely committed. It's this idea of like if you've ever seen the movie 300, like with the Spartans and stuff, like they have a pretty incredible mentality, and that might be kind of focused maybe in kind of a negative direction with like killing people and stuff, but they're
protecting their families.
Yeah, exactly. That's more accurate, right? They're protecting their empire essentially, and their families and stuff. So it's this idea of just like, I don't know how I'm going to transition that from back into fitness.
Mindset of killing. I don't know where we're going.
Yeah, okay, I went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but anyways, it's this idea of having a Spartan mindset.
And here, I can transition for you.
All right, go ahead.
The Spartan mindset is that like they go into battle not telling themselves there is a potential of failing. They go into battle telling themselves that there is nothing other than succeeding. And they're going to do everything that they possibly can to protect their family that's back home. And that's exactly what they do in that movie. Not focused on killing. They're focused on saving their families, protecting their loved ones, and having that support system, which is the whole unit of them together. Like, this kind of goes into accountability as well. Like, you have that whole support system of those other like-minded individuals, then you can succeed and defeat all the Persians. Boom. Yeah. That's the transition right there.
Very good. Amen. Yeah, so I mean that's exactly right. It's like they have a
literally have
mentality
everything.
Where it's just like,
it's like a perfect,
like, I'm going to do this. I set my mind on like what I'm going to achieve, and there is no other option. It's like, I'm going to do that. I might not succeed the first time or the second time or the 17th time, but the 18th time, I'm going to try again. At the very least, I'm going to try again. And I'm going to keep pushing forward until I achieve what I want to achieve. It's this idea of bringing commitment and intensity to your nutrition, to your training, to your life. And it's this idea of waking up at whenever you do. Let's say you wake up at 7 a.m. to start your day and
on
stuff.
a Monday morning.
It's this idea of, saying, you know what, I'm going to go to bed 2 hours earlier so I can wake up at 5 a.m. 2 hours earlier than I normally do, and I'm going to go to the gym. And when I wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow, I know I'm not going to want to get out of bed. But you know what? I'm going to get out of bed because I am developing the mindset, the intensity, the commitment to myself and my transformation, because I owe it to myself. I deserve this for myself, and I'm going to make it a reality. And I know lots of people have millions of excuses for why they can't work out on a regular basis, or why they're too tired, or they have too many other obligations, or whatever. I know there are lots of excuses, which is exactly why you need a warrior mindset, because there are things that come up, okay? And Anders and I are not perfect. We do not get to we do not always crush our workouts. We sometimes miss the gym, and that's going to happen from time to time. But it's this idea of being consistent to yourself, to your goals, and making that happen on a regular basis, and knowing, you know what, this is uncomfortable. I have lots of excuses, but my transformation, my life is more important than these excuses. Yeah. And I owe it to myself to do this for myself. So that's a warrior mindset. Now,
Spartans.
What's that?
I said Spartans.
Spartans. That's a Spartan mindset. So let's go on to piece number 2, 3, and 4, which are all your strategy. Okay, so that's the moderate caloric deficit. That's a high protein intake, and that's heavy compound weightlifting. Now, a moderate caloric deficit, what does that mean? That just means that comes back to energy balance, okay? That's the piece of the puzzle we were talking about previously. You need to be eating less calories every day than you burn to shred fat. It's really that simple, okay? Yeah. You can't do handstands or just eat kale or whatever and lose fat, okay? You need to ultimately be in a caloric deficit. That really matters, okay? You eat less calories than you burn every day.
And not an extreme caloric deficit either.
Right,
moderate caloric deficit.
So we're not, this is in starvation mode. So we're not, because that can actually be counterproductive. First of all, it's going to be miserable, and second of all, it can can mess with your metabolism a little bit. The science is very complex. It's not exactly that simple. I explain in the book. So I could just go into way more detail about that, but I will explain it in the book in all the detail you possibly need, so we're not going to do that now. Anyways, you need to be eating less calories than you burn every day. There is no hard and fast rule for exactly how many calories you should be eating. You have to go through and kind of make all those calculations on your own. I make that super simple in this book. I promise I will walk you through every single step, so you'll have that in this book. Now, the second piece to your strategy is a high protein intake, okay? So, as we were talking about earlier, you do not need a lot of protein to live, okay? Right. When people say, oh, where do you get your protein as a vegan? It's like, everywhere. I get tons of protein, okay? And you could just be eating straight bananas every day and be at least very close to your protein intake. You'd probably be totally fine, but
you would have to eat a lot of bananas.
So the average man needs somewhere on the order of 55, 60 grams of protein per day, and the average woman needs something around 45 to 50 grams of protein per day, plus or minus 10 grams depending on like who exactly you are. Maybe a little bit more if you're someone like Evan Singleton.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're just like preparing for strongman or something. You probably need a little bit more protein. And everybody actually who is focusing on achieving their fitness goals needs more protein, which is exactly why we say high protein intake. So that's really important. And the reason that's so important is because we want to encourage the maintenance, the preservation of your lean body mass, your lean muscle mass, everything in your body that you don't want to lose, essentially, as you're focusing on shredding fat, because you wouldn't be losing weight if you have this book. You're shredding fat, and that's really important. So maintaining a high protein intake is something that can really help you. First of all, feel less hungry. It can maintain a higher metabolism. It can help to maintain your metabolism while you're shredding down, and it can also help you to support your lean muscle mass and to ensure that you preserve all that lean muscle mass while you're shredding down. And there are a bunch of other huge benefits to a high protein intake, and I explain that all in the book. I also explain why you don't need to worry about eating a high plant protein intake, because people are so concerned about eating too much protein, and yes, that is an issue if you're eating animal products. But if you're eating plant protein, your body processes it in a very different way, and it's not detrimental to your health, okay? So a high protein intake, that's kind of the second part of strategy. The third part of strategy is heavy compound weightlifting. This is basically something we've preached again and again on this podcast, so you probably are already familiar with this.
Every single post on our Instagram.
Pretty much. So it all comes down to this idea of progressive overload, which is basically the process of subjecting your muscles to higher and higher levels of mechanical tension to resistance over time, because that's ultimately what helps you to build muscle, and it also helps you to preserve lean muscle while you're shredding down. So that's incredibly important.
And it's super empowering.
Yeah, it is. And speaking of which, we've hit some pretty amazing goals actually over the past.
I'm kind of embarrassed to even say it.
I know. I said the same thing in our coaching group, and I feel the same way. It's like, okay, I'll just tell you what I did, and then we'll explain why it's embarrassing. In the past week, like literally the past week.
Yeah.
In the past week, I hit a 10-pound squat PR. So
which isn't crazy.
That's not crazy. The next one's crazy. So I hit a 10-pound squat PR. So I just hit 375 for an ass to grass squat and full depth. And that felt really good. And I can actually I can see in the not too distant future, I'm going to hit 4 plates on an ass to grass
That's
squat.
so awesome.
Which I'm super pumped about. That's going to be really cool. Now the second one that I'm almost embarrassed about is that I hit a 40-pound A 40-pound deadlift PR. What?
Mine's worse
A
than that.
40-pound deadlift PR in the past week, which is absolutely, I don't know, stupid.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. And in kind of reflecting on that, I realized, so my new PR now is 465 pounds on
and
a
it went
deadlift.
up pretty easy too.
And I looked back at the video a few times, and it was pretty easy.
It flowed.
I think
you could definitely tell that you were struggling on it, but it flowed.
I think I had another 10 pounds. I think I have another 10 pounds.
You PR'd twice before that.
Yeah.
So
right,
you were just playing around with it.
Yeah, I didn't just go up to the bar and be like, "Oh, I'm going to throw on 40 pounds." It's like I did. I think I added 10 pounds, and then I added another 20 pounds because it just felt so easy. Yeah. And then I added another 10 pounds, and I was like, "Okay, what?" And I just stopped there. Yeah, that just didn't make any sense. But I reflected on it. I was like, you know what? I think none of my workouts in the past 4 months have been like 100% on. No. And I think it's just because I was so stressed about like finishing this book and writing and just like so focused on that I was actually like, I was building strength, but it all just like came out at one time, because finally, when all of the stress of like finishing the book and launching the book just got off my plate, I had a really good night of sleep the night before, walked into the gym, and then just rip a 40-pound PR.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I think that's the reason. And but it's kind of embarrassing. Like that shouldn't happen after you've been lifting for 10 years. I'm actually coming up on 11 years of weight training. So
mine's worse than yours.
It's ridiculous. Like, so yeah, what'd you hit?
I rose my deadlift by 50 pounds in the past 2 weeks. I was doing, my 1 rep max was 370 or 365.
Yeah.
And just 2 days ago, I got
2 days ago
420. I don't know, no idea how.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know. Like, I'm happy about it, but then
right.
also I'm
yeah,
just
me
like,
too.
Just like, okay, well, I thought I would get at 420 in a few months. Now I'm looking at like 450 next.
Right.
Which is
and I'm looking
awesome.
at like 5 plates on deadlift, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually not that far off. I'm ready to hit a 500-pound deadlift, and that's just like.
And the reason why we're here at this point is because of this formula, guys.
Literally.
No, seriously. I'm like,
we're
no
not even kidding. This is literally the formula that we use. And it requires a lot of effort. Like, obviously, there's lots of effort. That's what the whole Spartan mindset is all about.
Right.
Like, it requires a lot of effort, but it is totally possible for everyone. That's another thing that I want to make very clear. This formula, it works all the time. It doesn't just work some of the time. This formula works for all vegans. It doesn't just work for some vegans. This is an incredibly powerful formula, and it works for everyone. I've seen literally thousands of people implement this formula and transform their bodies and lives. So yeah, it's super cool. But anyways, we hit these ridiculous PRs, and now it's grinding on to the next PRs and stuff, because again, it's all about progressive overload. It's that heavy compound weightlifting.
And you know, when you get a new PR, like, it just like it brings back like the emotions of, oh, this is why I started lifting.
Brings back the fire.
Exactly.
Yeah, it reignites the kindling.
And it makes me want to push that much more. So like,
right.
If you think that you would burn out after a while, you don't. You know, you get tired sometimes, but ultimately, like, when you keep on progressing, like, you don't want to stop. You just get even more hungry to get even further.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the really cool thing about weightlifting. It's like, back when I first started weightlifting, I could barely pull 135, like the bar plus 1 45-pound plate on either side. I don't even know if I could do that the first time I tried.
What, deadlift?
Deadlift. Yeah.
I didn't start deadlifting until 3.5 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I had done it just like occasionally because I saw other people doing it, and I just would like fool around, but I never focused on it. It was just like, oh yeah, let me see if I can do that, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's like, my point is this. It's like lifting 135 pounds, whatever, 10 years ago, like that had the same level of difficulty as pulling 465 pounds did this past week. So the really cool thing about weightlifting is it doesn't matter who you are or where you're starting or how strong you are or how weak you might think you are. Everyone starts at a certain point and you can progress. It's all you versus you, and the weights can change. Like, you can take off the 45-pound plate and put on a 10-pounder or 5-pounder. Just leave the weights off and just use the bar if you have to, because you're starting in a different place than we are, okay?
Yeah. It goes back to don't put your judge yourself against others, you know?
Yeah.
Like, don't compare. That's what I'm looking for. Don't compare yourself to others, you know? Focus on you, and you will get to where you want to be. That's it.
Yeah, and it's super cool. Weightlifting has transformed our lives. It's been that's really been like such a strong rock in our lives when it comes to just kind of like staying sane and working on ourselves. Yeah. So
you know what? Actually, I just want to touch on this because the reason why I'm more happy than the weight that I lifted for the 420-pound deadlift. Is a few years ago when I was 195 pounds, I couldn't pull that. And I had to drop down weight significantly. And it was just like, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but this just dawned on me. Like, this was the most rewarding part of that deadlift, was knowing that I was stronger, that I'm stronger now, being 30 pounds lighter than I was when I got out of the military.
Yeah. Which, it all comes back to progressive overload. We are progressing.
Exactly.
And
it's the coolest thing. Like, I essentially restarted after I dropped all that weight.
Right.
And it's just like super, super awesome to reflect on to that type of thing.
And if you have lifted in the past and you got kind of strong or you got into really good shape and then you lost it for whatever reason, you can get back to that.
Yeah.
It's like you can get to that at any point in your life.
That's where the warrior mindset comes in.
Exactly. Yeah. I've seen, there are ripped 20-year-olds and there are ripped 90-year-olds. It's like their age does play a factor. It can make it a little more difficult in certain situations, but it's not going to hold you back from transforming your body, okay? You might not be able to get six-pack abs as easily at 90 as you could at 20, but like you can still transform your body and be a badass, and I think that's super cool. So anyways, those are the 3 parts of strategy, okay? We have the moderate calorie deficit, the moderate caloric deficit, we have a high protein intake, and we have heavy compound weightlifting. Now, I talk about other forms of training like cardio and stuff like that in the book in much detail, so that's certainly something you can check out. But heavy compound weightlifting, I believe, should be your focus. Now, if you're an endurance athlete and your goal is to race triathlons, you might not want to just focus on heavy compound weightlifting. You're gonna lose a bit.
Time for the marathon.
Yeah, you're gonna lose a bit. Yeah, actually, we that's not such a joke anymore.
That's going to be us.
Right? Yeah, that is going to be us. So as an update, I know we haven't updated you guys for a while, but we did sign up for a half Ironman triathlon in Boulder, Colorado, and that's coming up on August.
Why don't you just tell them
4th,
what the half Ironman is?
The half Ironman is it's a 70.3 miles of distance, and it's a triathlon. So we start off with a swim. It's a 1.2 mile swim, and then we jump on a bike, and that's a 56 mile bike, and then we finish up with a half marathon, which is 13.1 miles. I don't know exactly what all that is in kilometers, but you get the idea.
You just talking about it is making me sweat right now.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, it's training.
We got some training.
Training has been non-existent.
Well, training has been intense in weightlifting, but not in endurance.
Yeah,
which
it's
definitely needs a.
Yeah, I guess we were just talking about no excuses, and we really have no good excuses. I was super stressed getting this whole book done, and we were spending literally 14 plus hours a day working on this. But at the end of the day, that's we committed to this, and that's not really a good excuse. So
I'm still going to run it. And
we're still going to do it, and we're not going to be fast. and it's gonna hurt a lot more than we wanted it to, but we're gonna finish it because we've developed warrior mindsets.
Yeah, exactly.
And even though we're not doing this in the way that we would recommend anyone else do it, it's still something we committed to, and we're gonna finish it. So yeah. Anyways, okay. So we got the mindset, we have the strategy, we covered the strategy in a lot of detail, and now we're going to talk about massive accountability. Okay, that is the kind of fifth part of this puzzle, or third if you just want to look at those three parts in the strategy as just being kind of one part. So we've got the mindset, the strategy, and then accountability. And accountability is so incredibly important. It's like
because it's at the bottom of the list does not mean that is the least important.
Right. These are not necessarily in order.
Right.
There's just how I made it.
You just need all of them.
Yeah, you need all of them. And having the right accountability around you is so important, because you need a support system around your fitness goals, around your health and fitness goals. This is incredibly important because so I'm very entrepreneurial, and I love to grow businesses and stuff. And the vegan gym, it has become like my passion, and like that's like what I'm growing. I want to spread the message, help more people, and that's kind of what I'm focusing on in terms of like what I want to do with my life. And even though that matters so much to me, I still make a serious effort to surround myself with the right accountability. For example, we joined an elite entrepreneurial coaching program a few months ago, and it costs tens of thousands of dollars. I've hired other coaches. I belong to other entrepreneurial groups. I belong to mastermind groups. I have tons of friends who are building businesses right now, and I speak with them on a consistent basis. And I just surround myself with this accountability, because even though I am so passionate about helping others and doing all I can to spread this message and help more people, even though I am so freaking passionate about what I do, I still do not trust myself to always be progressing at the speed I know I need to progress to really fulfill my full potential. So I need to surround myself with people who are going to hold me accountable and challenge me to really live up to my full potential. Now, I also do that in my fitness. And one of the best ways that we do that is by posting in our coaching program, in our Vegan Superhero Academy coaching group. And we have our clients help hold us accountable. And we have other friends that we see at the gym or that we maintain contact with who are also trying to achieve serious fitness goals, and they hold us accountable. We've hired coaches, trainers in the past, and those people hold us accountable. So it's this idea of like always trying to better yourself and not trusting yourself exclusively to hold yourself accountable. Like, obviously you should trust yourself and you should hold yourself accountable, but most people, 99.999% of people do not, like, the one exception might be what's his name?
Who?
That Navy SEAL dude, David Goggins.
Oh, David Goggins.
Yeah. The one exception might be him. For everyone else, we need accountability, okay? He's like way beyond even a Spartan mindset. But we need accountability, and the way that you build in that accountability is by finding a group or finding a coach or finding a group of people to hold you accountable, tell them what you're going to do, and then do it, and have them follow up with you, follow up with them, and just make sure that you're holding yourself accountable. So those are the main parts of the vegan fat shredding formula. It's a lot of moving parts, but I firmly believe that all of these are absolutely crucial to lasting fitness transformation. And I think that's really important. Like, you have to have the lasting part. Like, this is not a new year, new me kind of thing. This is like a new year, like this is always going to be me kind of thing.
Right.
Or this is a new chapter in my life and I'm never going back because I'm establishing this accountability. I'm building the right mindset. I'm getting the correct strategy. So I'm going to continue progressing for the rest of my life. And that all equals vegan fat shredding success.
Yeah,
and,
why don't you say it one more time all the way through?
So we've got a warrior mindset plus a moderate caloric deficit plus a high protein intake plus heavy compound weightlifting plus massive accountability equals vegan fat shredding success.
Boom.
And I firmly believe that. So if you have not got a copy of this book, you can head to veganshredding.com. I'm giving away free copies of this book. All I ask is that you pay for shipping. You just cover shipping, and I will give you the book for free once you cover shipping. So again, that's veganshredding.com. I would absolutely love to get this book into your hands. I very, very much believe that this book has the power to transform your body and life, which, as we said before, are pretty much the same thing in my mind.
Right.
So a lot of good stuff can come out of reading this book, and I think that you're going to find it to be incredibly insightful and helpful, and also a resource. It's like this has the formula, and you can keep going back to it and keep kind of like tweaking. Keep adjusting, tweaking your strategy or your mindset and stuff based on the exercises and kind of like formula and all the information in this book. So anyways,
highly recommend it, guys.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I think that's pretty much going to be a wrap for the podcast. Do you have anything else, man?
No. Awesome combo, though.
Yeah, I was kind of just expecting to talk about the formula, but we went into a little bit more detail,
Talked
and
about Spartan,
it was awesome.
The movie 300, weightlifting,
talking
PRs.
about vegan activism. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed this episode. If you did, it would absolutely mean the world to us if you could leave a review on iTunes or on Stitcher or whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. If you have friends who are vegan who you think would really benefit from learning the strategies that we talked about in this podcast, learning about the vegan fat shredding formula, and learning about kind of our approach and our ideas about vegan activism, or how to like create kind of the body and life of your dreams, I would really, really appreciate you sharing this episode with them. That would mean a lot to me. And we're never going to advertise on this podcast.
Our fee is a review from you guys.
Yeah,
come on.
Well, a review and also a referral. Like if you guys could just tell other people, that would be absolutely amazing. We're growing through your incredible support.
Yeah, we see the amount of people listening to our podcast, guys.
Yeah, it's increasing by the week.
We can grow this even more listeners if you guys help us. All right, so let's.
Well, you have been helping us. You've been pushing us in the right direction, but if I know that you guys can do more, and I really appreciate it.
Level.
Yeah, we all have another level. We all have the warrior mindset.
Exactly.
So, anyways, I hope that you guys really found a lot of value in this, and I hope that you guys just have a freaking fantastic week. And until next time, keep challenging the freaking status quo.